Having finally left the iconic role of 007 behind, Daniel Craig's first new movie after James Bond couldn't be more different from the action franchise. Craig has spent a large part of his career as James Bond, but his final outing in No Time to Die has allowed him to explore new projects. He did a fantastic job of portraying one of cinema's most famous characters, having played him in 5 different movies over the span of 15 years, and his incredible performances mean Craig has been part of James Bond's best scenes, cementing his legacy with the franchise. While there will always be a temptation to bring back the actor for one last film, Craig's James Bond death in No Time to Die confirms he is done with the series, making way for a new actor to pick up the mantle. After his strong send-off, Craig could have easily returned to the action genre where he has had some of his best performances, but his new project is a change of pace entirely. Not only is it leaving the guns and explosions behind, but the film will see him take on one of his most complex roles yet. Queer is Daniel Craig's first new role after leaving the James Bond franchise. Craig's upcoming film will give him a fresh start after 15 years of James Bond. Daniel Craig is set to star in 2024's Queer, which will be his first new role since hanging up the gloves as James Bond. Although Craig led the cast of Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery a year after his final James Bond outing, he'd already played Benoit Blanc in 2019's Knives Out, meaning it wasn't a new part for the actor. He will appear once again as the detective in the franchise's 3rd installment, Wake Up Dead Man, but Queer will be Craig's official fresh start after retiring as 007, and he will feature in the leading role. The movie is based on a novel by William S. Burroughs and will be directed by Luca Guadagnino. With the story being described as a romantic drama, Guadagnino seems like a perfect fit after the massive success of Challengers, which is part of a similar genre despite its wildly different story. Queer's plot will take place in the 1940s and is set to follow an American expat in his late 40s chasing a younger man, which sounds completely different from Craig's usual projects. Jason Schwartzman, Enrique Zaga, and Colin Bates are among the other names set to star. Daniel Craig's Queer character is nothing like James Bond. Craig's new character will have even more depth than 007. Audiences may have gotten used to Craig playing a charming and confident special agent throughout the James Bond movies, but his Queer character will be completely different. Alongside being intelligent and great with all sorts of weapons and gadgets, 007 is a smooth talker, leading to James Bond having plenty of iconic quotes over the years. His calm, charismatic demeanor allows him to work independently and take down some of the most well-equipped villains in all of cinema. And with this being Craig's most prolific role, it will be all the more interesting to see him play someone so different. Queer's protagonist, William Lee, has plenty of insecurities and is also addicted to drugs, which will make Craig's performance the complete opposite of James Bond. Additionally, Lee being a gay man in the 1940s will completely contrast Bond's usual ladies' man persona that has become synonymous with the character, meaning Craig will have to bring a more grounded and sensitive approach to his new role. The actor already has experience playing a gay character in the Knives Out franchise who is also extremely different to Bond, indicating that Craig is more than capable of nailing his upcoming part in Queer. Queer's tone and themes couldn't be more different compared to James Bond. The two franchises share little in common, making Craig's new role even more intriguing. Alongside having entirely different protagonists, James Bond and Queer also have contrasting tones and themes, highlighting how big of a career change this is for Craig. While the actor's Bond movies tended to be a little darker than the franchise's previous entries, they weren't exactly pessimistic or downbeat. Instead, they were filled with suspense and action, with the audience knowing the skilled agent would always find a way out of each situation until the final installment. Each movie contained some thrilling stunts and strong choreography that made Craig's Bond films relatively easy to watch while maintaining high stakes.